Hi, good morning everyone. Let's get started with the next topic for this training session, which is on backup management and tape management. Basically, the objective of this particular session is just to give an idea about what is a backup strategy that meets the need of your company. Basically, you need to define the backup strategy. Then next is about the configuration of the tape management system for performing database and offline redo log file backups, and set up and manage tape pools. So these are the key activities that we will be covering in this particular training session. So let's get started. Okay, so basically what is the importance of backup? Why do we need to take a backup of the system? Okay, so the reason why the backup is required is basically there are chances that because of the external factors such as water damage, the system may be corrupted. Because of physical errors such as hardware failure, there may be a data loss. There could be logical errors such as some tables is deleted, some tables are dropped. So because of data losses, you need to have a backup to recover. So a good database backup strategy prevents data loss and minimize system downtime. So to achieve that, you need to have procedures and escalation path in place. Okay, so that is about why this is required. Okay, how we can prevent and how to handle the errors. Okay, so logical database checks. Basically, we need to make sure that the database is in consistent state. So we need to check the database on a periodic basis that the database is in consistent stage. Second is about the physical data check, that is verify the backup on the tape just to make sure that it's in consistent phase. Okay, so these are the two key things. We need to make sure that our data is in consistent phase, our database is in consistent stage. Okay, so let's get into the possible causes of data loss. Okay, so you can see there could be logical errors like a table is deleted, table is corrupted. Okay, so you may be seeing at what time this particular error happened. Okay, then time when database is stopped for recovery. So that is the time of the lost information. Okay, you must recover the complete database to a point in time before the error to bring it in consistent stage. Basically, the logical errors can be caused by what we have seen is by dropping the objects, by deleting a part of a database object such as rows or columns, or by an application error. Okay, so let's see the part 2 basis basically about the forward recovery. Database backup is stored and you want to recover data from offline redo logs. Say for example, here you are seeing that this is the information which will be lost. So here you have sequence of offline redo log files and the last offline redo log file, and this is basically the time. So this is the point in time of the database error and you can recover at this particular phase. So you can see basically what is happening in this particular process in the disaster recovery. There are physical errors like hardware failure. There are external errors, external factors like fire or damage, water damage. So only data saved on tape can be recovered. Only tapes stored in a safe location can be recovered. So basically just taking a backup is not good enough. We need to make sure that the backup that is taken can be recovered. It is in readable mode. Secondly, the tapes in which the backup is stored can be recovered, is in good health, Okay, so now the backup cycle recommendation. Basically, you can see what we have covered so far. It's talking about the good backup cycle, and so basically we recommend a backup cycle of 4 weeks. Okay, a pool of tape for database and offline redo log file backups is required. Ensure that enough tapes are provided in each tape pool to span the entire backup cycle. We recommend having at least 30% more tapes than required to cover database growth. Okay, so perform a full online backup each workday. That is, perform full offline backup at least once in a cycle. Okay, then you must back up the offline redo log files each workday as well after every online and offline backup. Okay, so basically this diagram shows the entire flow. Okay, so that's what is about the backup cycle recommendation. Now let's get into the tools for backup. So what are the things it should be backing up? Okay, in this particular diagram you are seeing control files, you are seeing data files, you see the online redo log files, offline redo log files. Okay, and then the tools, basically the BR backup, using which you take a backup, BR restore, BR archive, and BR restore in case if the restore is required, and for copying it to the media you have CPIO or DDIC. So these are basically the system commands. Okay, now let's get into the next slide, which says basically it is talking about the backup objects. That is the object that needs to be backed up. Okay, so these are the objects which is must for backing up data files: online redo log files, control files, profiles, offline redo log files. Okay, so that is about the database objects which need to be backed up. Okay, then tape pools, basically what is the size of database backup, how many parallel backup runs can happen, what is the length of the backup size. Depending on that you need to have number of tapes. Okay, then the tape initialization, basically you can see that the information which is required. Okay, then you have the tape label content and tape checks. Basically for the labeling we just need to make sure that we can identify the tape. We can say, okay, this is the name of the tape, this is the database backup that is there, this is the time of the last backup on it, and the number of backups performed for a particular database. Okay, then basically we should have a tape checks as well. Okay, so let's get into the next slide, which is basically it's telling the locking of the tapes. Okay, so let's get into the next one, which is talking about the automatic tape selection process. So this is a manual tape selection process, and in case if you are using an external tool for taking in backup. Okay, then tape layout, depending on the different backup media, different backup solution that you are using. Okay, that's all I wanted to cover in this particular session. Thanks for joining and have a nice day. Bye bye.